Is New World good? New World came out about 2 years ago in 2021. It was surrounded by tons of hype, didn't quite live up to the hype, and since then, there has been two new expansions, the first one being Brimstone Sands, and the second one being Rise of the Angry Earth. And these expansions have come with new weapons, new biomes to explore, and the most recent one actually introduced mounts to the game, which is what everybody has been looking forward to. I want to jump into a little review here and get into the details of, is New World actually good? Is it worth your time? Is it worth buying? Or is it not? We'll find out. My name is Manarith, and let's get into the video. The first expansion, Brimstone Sands, was the first step in the right direction for New World, coming with a new zone, a new weapon, the Greatsword weapon, which I actually loved personally and still love playing with. That is my main weapon. It also brought Heart Gem abilities, which essentially granted you an extra skill on top of your 3 weapon skills that you already had. Zones that already existed in the game also got revamped, changing the look of them. For example, one of the zones is actually a giant castle now. A new starting experience was revamped with Brimstone Sands, optimizing the quest flow and adding new quests and a streamlined story. It kind of just fleshed out all the flaws that were in the original game. And the best part about Brimstone Sands is it was free. It was a free upgrade to the game itself. Unlike the second expansion, Rise of the Angry Earth, which did have a price tag, although some might say for good reason as it enhanced the game a lot more than the first expansion did. Your character's level was increased to 65 and the gear score respectively to 700, along with trade skills being able to go up to 250 rather than 200, and adding mounts. The most requested feature by the community was finally implemented, and having the mount made the game feel way more enjoyable. Being able to get around the world faster felt good. The mount also worked as a trade skill that you can level up through either consuming mount foods or completing the mount races. The mount races are honestly very boring. They didn't feel good to complete. I feel like they could have instead made something like an obstacle course or something more engaging. But overall, the mounts themselves were a great addition to the game. A new rarity of items called artifacts also made their way into the game with the Rise of the Angry Earth expansion, and these items are incredible. I love artifacts. They have specific boss drops, they drop from specific events, specific expeditions have their own drop chances, and the artifacts themselves are really powerful. When you get one to drop, you have a few stats on it that aren't quite unlocked. You have to do some objectives to unlock them, but they create these powerful builds for your character. I myself was doing portal runs. I got a wizard hat and the abyss axe in my very first run, got them both to drop, and I was able to do a really cool like abyss axe void mage build. It was amazing. I love artifacts and they were a great addition to the game. The leveling experience in New World is more or less the same as it was 2 years ago. I feel like the storyline's probably fleshed out a little bit more. The zones have had changes to them. Settlements had their visuals changed, and every settlement has their own distinct look. But aside from that, the leveling experience is going to be more or less the same. If you are someone that played New World from release, if you get into it now, it's going to kind of feel the same as you're leveling up. But you can essentially level through doing quests, you can level through crafting and gathering, you can do expeditions to level up. There's lots of ways to level up in the game now. Before, it used to just be you had to go to the town board, pick up all the town board quests, and just grind those out. And that was like the most efficient way to level. Now that's probably, I would say, even the least efficient way. The best way is to just do your gathering and do your main story quest, and it feels good. It feels good to level in New World. And as with any MMO, the real gameplay is supposed to start once you reach the end game. And in New World, I feel like it's no different. You reach the end game, now you're able to do portal runs, you're able to do invasions on settlements, you can do expeditions with mutations and all these different modifiers on the dungeons to make it harder. You've got boss farming now, so you can go around the world farming bosses to get a specific artifact to drop, like we talked about earlier. Those artifacts will enhance your builds. And that's mostly the PvE endgame side of New World. And then your PvP endgame includes, you know, your Outpost Rush, your Influence Race, which is basically just open world PvP, trying to control territories and fighting against the other factions. You have your City Wars, which I actually never got the chance to engage with. Most of the wars are pretty hardcore companies going head to head, and I never got into one of those. And now you also have your arenas as well in New World, which I believe came with the Brimstone expansion. The arenas they're okay. They feel a little misplaced in a game like New World, where I feel like most of your PvP is open world, like tons of players running at each other or just soloing a guy in open world PvP. The arenas feel they feel a bit left out in New World. But Outpost Rush, that is a game mode that I feel sits really well in the universe of New World. Outpost Rush is fantastic. It's a super fun game mode. I love playing Outpost Rush. The PvP in general in New World is pretty good. There are some pretty heavy imbalances. If you don't have specific gems or specific gear, like you're really gonna feel it in those PvP engagements. But overall, the PvP in New World is in a pretty good spot right now, I feel. As for myself, I actually preferred the PvE endgame in New World. I did lots of portal runs. You essentially are going from rift to rift, and there's like this designated area called Mirkgard, I believe, where everybody does their portal runs, and you do waves of enemy, you defeat the portal, get the chest at the end, and you pretty much guarantee yourself a legendary with a chance of an artifact. And then expeditions, technically dungeons, but they wanted to call them expeditions, was also something I was into. I didn't do too many mutated ones. I think I only did a few. And after doing, you know, expeditions, portal runs, and then eventually doing boss farming for some artifacts, I did get pretty burnt out. Like, there's not a whole lot going on in the end game for New World, I feel. The leveling experience was honestly my favorite, especially when you start hitting the 60 to 65 area of leveling and you start seeing legendaries drop. It was super exciting seeing a legendary drop, and even more exciting seeing an artifact drop. It was ridiculous. I was out of my mind when I saw one of those. But eventually, yeah, I think I played for like a week at the end game and I kind of got bored and moved on to another game. So to come to a conclusion whether New World is good or bad, should you play it, is it amazing? I think New World is a good game. It's not fantastic. It's not bad. It's a decent MMO. I feel like you can get your money's worth out of it, but I don't think it's like the next big, you know, Warcraft killer or anything like this. But I've probably played for about 250 hours now. I got my money's worth. I had fun. I think a lot of people that enjoy MMOs will have fun with New World, and they'll definitely get their money's worth out of it. But that's pretty much it. I think New World is a good game. It's a good MMO. You should play it if you haven't yet. And that's all for today. If you guys could please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on New World, and you know, let me know how you feel about MMOs in general. Like, where all these MMOs on the horizon, it's like, I wish I was 10 years younger so I could actually play these games that are that are coming out soon. But anyways, thanks for watching. Remember, subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.